Libra, welcome to your March 2021 Astro Update. It's Raina here. So you're coming from February with so much energy in Aquarius, and there still are a couple of planets in Aquarius as the month of, a few. Let's see, how many are in Aquarius? Yeah, a few transits in Aquarius, which is your fifth house. So we have Mercury, which is direct now, but not coming out of its shadow until almost the middle of the month. And we have Jupiter and Saturn in Aquarius as well. And Aquarius for you is the fifth house. It's another air sign. So this is really fun because this is Leo's house in the universal chart. And it's all about love, which, you're ruled by Venus, so you certainly are romantic. Love, falling in love, creativity, creating children, so conceiving children, working with children, which your inner child can be the fifth house, the business that you own, and just pleasure. Anything that you do for fun, hobbies, maybe sporting events. And so this is energy, because it's in air, it's the easiest aspect called a trine. So things are cooperating. And on the 3rd, Mars goes into Gemini. So there you have more air, but it's coming from the opposite direction. It's coming from the 9th house. And the 9th house is Sagittarius house. So it is about long distance travel, traveling mentally, or expanding mentally. So mental pursuits that are of a more sophisticated or abstract nature, not just mundane knowledge, but it also connects with university. So higher learning, that's why I said sophisticated. Mars here, Mars is a very active planet. So, this may involve long distance traveling, like you physically doing it. Maybe, this is a year after the shutdown and you finally are able to take that trip that you maybe had to cancel earlier. I would say if you canceled it, it might have been back in the fall, or, I'll say later in 2020, because there was a lunar eclipse in this sector in Gemini. So maybe it was like, oh man, my plans fell through. And now you're going to take that trip. On the 13th, we have a new moon at 23 degrees of Pisces. And 2 days later, on the 15th, Mercury goes into Pisces. So there is that 6th house, that very practical area. And yet, it's in an impractical sign of Pisces. So there's a spiritual influence for all of us when the sun and all these personal planets are in Pisces. Tongue twister. And so, I could see that even affecting the type of work that you feel drawn to be doing. Venus is also in this sector, so you have like this emphasis on the 6th house until the 21st. So Venus in the 6th can indicate either maybe getting a raise or finding love in the workplace. This is also the house of health. So with Mercury here, you may be reading up on books about health, how to improve your health, consulting people, researching, as I said, reading about it. Or just interviewing for a new job if you're like in between jobs. On the 20th, the sun goes into Aries. This is the astrological new year, and this heralds planets going into your opposite sign, Libra, which is Aries. And how this can manifest is you might be dealing with relationships more than usual. Now, I just told you that you have these planets in the 5th house. And of course, as soon as Mercury goes into Pisces, it's one less planet there, but Jupiter and Saturn are going to be in Aquarius all year long. Jupiter, a little bit of time into Pisces throughout the year, but mostly in Aquarius in that 5th house. And so the point being that this is a great year for love coming to you, because you may have like multiple opportunities to meet people, date people. 5th house can be dating, but also to get serious with somebody, Saturn. However, in the month of March and going into April, because of Aries energy, long-term relationship energy is featured here. So perhaps some of you have two things going on at once. Maybe you're separated from a marriage partner, and, because you're legally separated, you can date and it's not cheating. And you're kind of testing the waters and seeing if you want to be alone. Be free from that committed partnership or not. And that could be what you're doing. The astrological new year is just a time when we feel this sense of renewal, power, wanting change, that just being something that we believe is what we're here to do, is to experience change. And so, like I said, on the 20th, the sun goes into that 7th house, and the 21st, Venus goes there. And Venus in the 7th house can actually create a bit of harmony. Mars has been through that house in recent months. Actually, I wouldn't be surprised if a fair amount of Libra people who were coupled in 2020 experienced a lot of challenging situations with a significant other, because Mars did retrograde in 2020 and it hung out in Aries for a long time. And that meant more of that combative energy. The 7th house can also be lawsuits or legal matters. So like, let's say it was a protracted divorce, especially with the shutdown. It may have just like postponed things, and maybe you're still kind of like, there still is something hanging in the balance. And yet, some of you, this may not be a lawsuit, but you're just actually having friction with that partner. And the temptation to have a new relationship might be very great. One thing to note is that Chiron is in this house. And Chiron is a wounded healer. In your natal chart, it can show where the trauma lies, or one of the big, painful, tender areas of your life are. I don't think it's the only one for sure. I think you could look to Pluto. I think you can look to your 8th house to see what's going on there. But anyway, the fact that you have Chiron in your opposite sign is really significant as far as I'm concerned, Libra, because I feel like Libra people, especially if you have had difficulties in relationships, really need to tune into your own power and not give away your power in relationships. And, whenever there's an opposition, there can be this projection. It can deal with relationship issues. And certainly this month, there may be things that come into your awareness. But I will say that Venus here makes things a lot better. On the 28th, there is a full moon in your sign at 8 degrees of Libra. So what is going on for you that you are resolving in March, Libra. What kind of changes in your life are you ready to make? And this is the initial stage of like letting go of something. And letting go of something doesn't mean that you're giving up on anything, really. Even if you love someone and you're having conflicts with that person, all it can mean is that you are willing to stop trying to have a certain outcome. It's kind of like a surrender. And to me, it's a very Zen-like thing. It's not something like, oh, that's terrible and bad. No, it can be very good if you want to make it happen. So some kind of change, some kind of realization about what needs to change can come about. So I think you're going to have a very impactful month. I think all of us are. I think we're going to find that March is a turning point in terms of the year and the shape it takes. So I hope you enjoyed this. If you would like a private reading, please click on the link below and see what I have to offer. Have a great month. Take care. Bye.